Hey guys, the British Antarctic Survey has launched a new research station in Antarctica. Haley 6 looks like a space station. And not only will the research on Haley 6 help us learn more about our own planet, Earth's past, and climate change, but Antarctic research helps us understand the extreme conditions and possibilities for life on alien worlds.
We've got Kevin here. I want to know from you, what about Antarctica? Why have you researched in Antarctica, and how did you use that in your work in exobiology?
Part of what I find most fascinating about what's going on in Antarctica right now is the exploration of these lakes that are beneath the ice sheet. These are lakes that have been cut off from sunlight and from the atmosphere. And yet, through the exploration of the deep lakes and also some of the surface lakes in Antarctica, we're learning about the extreme limits of life here on Earth, and that's helping us redefine what it means for an ecosystem to be habitable. That then provides us a lens through which we can look outward in the solar system. The worlds that I find most fascinating are the moons of the outer solar system, moons like Europa and Enceladus. These are worlds that are covered in ice, but beneath their icy shells, we have very good reason to believe that vast global liquid water oceans exist.
The study that we did recently was not in a subglacial lake, but was in a surface lake in the dry valleys, which are the largest ice-free region in the Antarctic. And in this lake called Lake Vida that we were working in, the ice of this lake has the thickest lake ice that we know of on any lake on Earth. And about 16 to 18 meters down in the ice, we encountered a liquid brine that is at temperatures that are around 8 degrees Fahrenheit or minus 13 degrees Celsius. So we were really interested in investigating whether there was life in that brine and what the chemistry of that brine was. And kind of as Kevin said, this has been really one very interesting extreme ecosystem where we did find a pretty rich bacterial community that's living in this brine. And at temperatures that we think are very stable and cold. It's dark at that depth of the lake ice. There's no light. And so similar to what now people are accessing some subglacial lake systems in the Willans ice stream and in Lake Vostok, there's similarities there, except for in our system, we also have really high salt concentrations and really interesting geochemistry of the interactions between that liquid brine that is in the ice and the underlying sediments. What we think is that the temperatures, we think that Europa might have a salty ocean, and we think that the temperatures of that, though, are really of the ocean itself are not that cold compared to what the surface light conditions are. So that the temperatures and what we have found in these cold brine liquids in the ice cover of Lake Vida actually might be kind of representative of what might be found. The same thing with the surface of Mars. The surface is really cold, but as you go deeper into the sediments, the sands, soils of Mars, then it also gets warmer.
Part of what life on Earth is telling us is that if you find a location that's got liquid water, a suite of elements that we think are important to life, most basically the carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur, and then a smattering of metals. And then if you've got some form of energy that life can utilize, that by Earth standards is what we would consider to be a habitable environment.